So today we will be discussing graph-based clustering. So what is a graph and how a graph can be used to create clusters? We had already explored in the previous sessions. So graph is a collection of nodes and edges with weights assigned on the edge. So we had seen that in the previous algorithms, previous discussions. So you can see here how exactly graph can be used to create clusters. So you can see the first point, a graph provides a view for data objects. So each and every data object is represented as a node, and it will play a role in creating a cluster. One more important aspect in graph-based clustering is defining the proximity between data objects or between 2 points. And weight will be used to define this. So this was once again already explained in the previous session. So we can see two clusters in this example, cluster A and cluster B. In cluster A, we have few points, P1, P2, P3, P4. These points are nothing but data objects or records. Records in a database are represented as a 2D point. So between the 2 points, you can see an edge that is being connected. So that indicates the similarity or the proximity between the cluster, between the 2 points. So the lower the value, higher the proximity, meaning that lower the value that you see on a edge, which is nothing but a weight. So higher the closeness between the 2 points. The points are closely related. A larger value like what you are seeing between P2 and P4. Okay, a larger value 9 indicates the points P2 and P4 are not so closely related. So a smaller value between 2 points indicates the 2 points are very closely related, and a larger value indicates they're not related, closely related. So all the points within the clusters have been connected by edges, and on the edges you can see weights. So that should be your observation in cluster A. And we have a different cluster, cluster B. Few more points are there, edges are there, and on the edges you can see the weights. The same philosophy that was explained in cluster A will carry to cluster B also. So one more observation that you should make here is in each and every cluster, the data points have been represented as a graph with the data objects being the nodes and the relation between the data points being represented through edge and weight. So this is how you create graphs, and using graphs you will decide which point should be part of which cluster. Also you can make take a note here. We have marked the distance between P2 and P5, and the weight is 30. Now what does it mean? This similar example was already discussed previously. A higher value indicates the 2 points are not closely related. In this case, since point P2 is in cluster A and point P5 is in cluster B, so obviously you will experience a higher value for the proximity, the same as we indicated as 30 in this example. So this was graph-based clustering. We understood how graphs can be used to represent the data objects, data points, records, and create clusters. The next topic is graph sparsification. What is graph sparsification? So we have explored sparsification in few discussions in previous modules. We will try to put it in the context of a graph. What is sparsification? So as we explored, a graph will have data points, edges, and usually a graph that is constructed from a database will have many points and edges. So the number of points and edges will be very high, meaning that it's a dense graph. Okay. So usually a graph will be very dense. That is what you can see. Now, what will be the consequence of a graph being very dense? So if a graph is dense, it means we have more data points, more the data points, more edges for connecting those data points, weights. See, for storing all this stuff, you require memory, meaning that if a graph is dense, the size of your memory requirement will be very huge. For example, you can see in this case, it's almost 2 gigabytes. Now, once again, what will be the consequence of it? What will be the implication of this? So, more the memory, more storage you require. Also, the processing time will obviously be very large. So, to start creating the clusters, the fundamental objective here is you need to create clusters from these data points. So, if you directly start creating clusters from these data points, so it will be very heavy on the memory and computation. So, before starting with the clustering mechanism, we will try to optimize the scenario here. So, what exactly we are doing? We will not take the original graph and give it to the clustering algorithm to create the clusters. Instead, we will make this graph lightweight, meaning that we'll try to remove few edges. Maybe we will try to even remove few points that may not be so relevant. Okay, and this process we call it as sparsification. Okay, trying to make the graph, trying to make the dense graph lightweight. The same has been done. You can see this is the original graph, and this is the lightweight graph that has been created out of it. Now, what are the things that will be removed, and what are the things that should be retained from the original graph in a sparse graph? So the thing is, when you are creating a sparse graph, you need to ensure that the fundamental structure characteristics of the original graph is not diluted, it is not compromised. So all the properties and characteristics should be carried to the sparse graph. That is one point. The second thing is we should try to retain the data points as much as possible. So all the data points should also carry, but you can decide on the edges. For example, you consider this edge. You consider this edge between 2 points. If this edge is having a very large number, what does it mean? It means that the 2 points which are being connected by the edge are not closely related. Okay, in that case, you can eliminate this edge, meaning that so edges with very high values, which is indicating that the 2 points are not closely related. So you can remove those edges. So many of the edges have been reduced. You can see in this example during the process of sparsification from the original graph. Many of the edges have been removed. You cannot find all these edges in the sparse graph. It has been removed. So based on what criteria it has been removed? Based on the criteria that the values on those edges were very high, indicating that the points were not closely related. Now, what is the benefit of it? You can see the size of the graph has come down from 2 GB, it has come down to 20 MB. This is the obvious benefit. Now, what will be the implication of this? So, your memory requirement is reduced and your computation will also reduce. So that is what has been explained as the next 2 points you can see here. So, whatever explanations I gave here has been given here in the form of points you can see. So, what exactly you are doing in sparsification? From the original graph or main graph, you are creating a subgraph. So that is the first point that was explained. The number of edges will reduce. We will try to keep the points or nodes as much as possible. We will try to retain it. So second point that I mentioned was the property. The property should not change. The characteristic of the graph should not change. We should retain it. The sparse graph that you are creating should carry the same properties of the original graph. Third point is yeah, we save a lot of space. So that was also explained. So reduces the memory. So whatever explanations I gave in the previous instance, the same you can see in the form of points organized systematically. So we have a data set here. The data set is my raw data. From this raw data, I have extracted the points, m data points. Using these data points, I have constructed the dense graph. You can see the dense graph has been constructed. What is a dense graph was already explained. Huge collection of data points and edges connecting those data points. Now the details of this dense graph has been stored in a proximity matrix. You can see what is a proximity matrix. It was already explored in the previous algorithms. Proximity matrix is a 2 cross 2, I mean n cross n matrix containing all the points in the graph and the weights on the edges. For example, you have this point P1, P2, P3, P4. All these points have been organized as a row and column, and whatever weights you have on the edges connecting the 2 points. For example, between these 2 points, I have a weight of 2. This 2 entry will be there in the proximity matrix. So between the point P1 and P2, 2 is the weight, meaning that you are seeing the process here. From my raw data set, what exactly I'm doing? From my raw data set, I'm taking the data points and creating a dense graph. Just now we understood a dense graph, considering a